Do they believe yet? The Denver Broncos just went in at an 11 a.m. game to one of the hottest states in the entire country to play against a hot team in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they came out on top. I could not be more pumped for this. This is what we have wanted to see, as the national media has continued to just like doubt this team and say they're bad and say we're like selling hope, or people saying that I'm a grifter for just telling you exactly what Shawn Payton had said all season. So many people have just doubted that Shawn Payton is still an elite offensive mind. And we saw what he wants out of Bo Nix, and it was absolutely beautiful. We're going to break it all down here. Truly, like, definitely the best moment of the Bo Nix era. And I cannot believe how much better we look when you're not playing a top 3 defense in the league, or playing a new coach that you don't have a chance to even get film on. Shawn Payton looks like one of them ones, you guys. And that is what we had hoped all offseason. We know we're not a 5-win team, and we know we played 2 elite defenses to start. Like, we were 7-point dogs at one point in this entire game, and there was not a moment of this game, other than that Javonte Williams fumble, that you were even like discouraged. We had it handled. Bo Nix, like, the amount of times that Shawn Payton is trusting Bo Nix to throw the ball is just awesome. And I'm so pumped to be chilling with all my believers here, because this is what we've been saying for a long time. I think there are so many of us where we've been hurt for 8 years, 10 years, since Peyton Manning won the Super Bowl for us, we've been hurt. And so it's easy to just, once we start like looking like we used to in the past, just be like, oh, this always happens to us. But dude, brand new administration, brand new franchise quarterback, and he proved that he's a franchise quarterback. So pumped to have all y'all here. They didn't know that was coming, but we did, right? This is when I'm like, man, I should get into sports gambling, because my brother-in-law was over yesterday. I'm like, dude, the Broncos are actually like going to win. I got the receipts to prove it. I've been DMing people like, guys, I actually think the Broncos are going to win. It's a perfect matchup for us. This Tampa Bay team isn't a bad team either. They just destroyed the Detroit Lions, who are our Super Bowl favorites, right? And then everyone's like, oh, you don't have Aiden Hutchinson. We sacked Baker Mayfield more today without Aiden Hutchinson than they sacked him last week with him. And so it's just wild right now. Yes, one of the first things I thought about was how happy Ben was going to be. Guys, this is, it's my birthday weekend. I said, this is the least the Broncos can do. They owe me this one. And man, guys, I feel incredible right now, because if we can go at 11 o'clock to you saw the temperature gauge on the field, it was like 120 at one point, and you just see like Bo, when he took his helmet off, looked like he was in heat stroke. Like, he looked like me after an hour in the sauna or something like that, and we still looked incredible. Guys, this is awesome. Yes, Jody, 100%, dude. Something has clicked in Bo. This is what Shawn wants, and this is what you hear opposing defenses who scheme for Shawn Payton say that drives them nuts, is that it's just like you don't have time to get to the quarterback because they're little 4-yard plays, and they were there today. And I think Shawn Payton is opening up more of the offense, and early on we were pushing the ball further down the field, which opened up those little 4 yards. So we're going to 4-yard dink and dunk every single team to death. Like, you cannot undercount how good this Tampa Bay team is that we just laid the wood on. It wasn't even close. It was a total team win. So many amazing things to look at yet. Our line, and that's without McGlinchey. And like, McGlinchey is a beast. I love McGlinchey. Obviously, we called him McFlinchy for a while, but like, he's really started to come on. So we'll go through highs, lows, water buffaloes. I'm new to like doing live, but I'm going to try to bring in some friends on this. But yeah, never stop believing. I think the real ones who've like been able to separate the 8 years of hurt believed, and this isn't that surprising to us. It's everyone else, and it doesn't make them less fans than us, but I think they've just like guarded their hearts and been like, well, let's, this could be a long rebuild. But man, absolute huge birthday gift to Ben. Happy birthday, Ben. Thanks, man. Truly, like, I got a sick, like, salute to service Broncos thing for my wife. I got a new pair of shoes, but the best thing ever was the Denver Broncos going on the road. Like, we know this is our Achilles heel, is like going East Coast I'm rehashing all the stuff that I said all week that people said I'm a grifter. Literally, someone said I was a grifter saying that we were going to win. But Sean Payton studied all offseason for how do you go to the East Coast and win. He's brand new to that. Like he's used to coming west, being in New Orleans, and it's a totally different thing. So he studied from Shanahan, he studied from McVay, and it all totally paid off. And that was amazing. Since I'm also trying to stream, I'd love any updates on what we got for other games around the league right now. But let's go through. Let's go through our highs, low point, and then like strange things that stood out. I think I've talked before how every night at family dinner, my wife leads the kids through our high, low, water buffalo. So yeah, I think for sure my high, Saints in a close one, cool. I think my high, without a doubt, is going to be like that defense. We have a top 10 defensive line. When I said that this offseason, people were like, you're such a homer, bro. Like, that's not even true. Look at what our defensive line just did. And that is an explosive offense. And they moved the ball right before right before halftime. That Bucky Irving, he's a beast too, man. Like he's really good. I would love to see us use Jaleel like the Saints are using him because he's making people miss, juking people out of his shoes. But our defense looked absolutely incredible. What have we been saying? Like all of us who are the real ones who never stop believing, what have we been saying about our corners? Like I think we truly have one of the best secondaries in the league. When you start with Pat Surtain, who's going to lock anyone down, put him on somebody and he's not getting the ball, that thing's over. And then it's like, we already know we also have one of the best slot corners in Jaquan McMillian. Well, then all of a sudden you add in Riley Moss, and Riley looked incredible as a rookie in his first 2 games against pretty good wideouts, right? Like he was playing against Lockett. He was playing a lot of snaps. He had against who's that guy who had 29 yards on us on the Pittsburgh Steelers? Somebody help me out. But he looked great there. And Sean was like, if he looks that good as a rookie, imagine when he is a step faster because he can read the plays. And we saw it today. That was when I first jumped off my couch, was when Riley like jumped the pass. And unlike the one where Lockett caught it to ice the game against Seattle, it wasn't even close to a fingertip. He like palmed that thing out of there. And that was just, man, absolutely wild. Best game the Broncos have played in forever. Right wing nut job. Yes, let's all be Broncos nut jobs right now, man. And we deserve it because like they've been sleeping hard and we didn't have the first 2 games. That's easy to like go back into our little caves and be bashful again and be like, oh, maybe they were right to doubt us and say we're the 31st best team in the NFL. But I think today we showed no, like all the hype coming into this was 1000% legitimate, that Shawn Payton is one of the best offensive play callers in the league. And now every single week, you guys, and obviously there will be a ceiling for Bo Nix, but we're nowhere close to that. We are seeing more and more of Sean's playbook each week, and that is a sight to behold. And y'all need to hop on this bandwagon right now, because I'm just telling you, it is up from here. Because we saw last week the Pittsburgh Steelers cornerbacks laughing at Sean Payton and how limited his play calling was. And they're like, we knew where the ball was going every single time. Every week, we are going to add more and more complexity to that. And you know what we're doing right now? We're bringing Club Dub to Tampa Bay right now. And that is going to rock so hard. So Sean Payton, everyone is like, oh, he's militant. He's like Bill Belichick, which could not be further from the truth. And we got to all combat that. Sean Payton is a player's coach. He is a way more in line with a Dan Campbell than he is a Bill Belichick. And one of the things that he does for that is Club Dub. He drops crazy amounts of money on a sound system to bring to the opposing locker room so that when we win on the road, he bumps so much bass. Like that thing, I bet it's like Nicki Minaj right now and Cardi B and maybe some Aerosmith. Like it's going to go so hard. And every single player is going to hear that and they're hyped up. And then right from there, we are going to West Virginia, where we are having a college road trip where we are going to bond so close. And I just watch out for the Jets. I think it's a really hard thing for our schedule that the Jets played on Thursday. They get 10 days to prep for us, but watch out for a team who is young and hungry, believes in itself, and loves the players on that team. Absolutely amazing. Wow, that is wild. Massive shout out here. Yeah, first win since 2023. That really does feel like forever ago that we won. Obviously, Bo Nix's first win, incredible. I was hoping we're gonna see Bo Nix's first touchdown pass, which we did not. But man, his wheels and his rushing ability cannot be understated. Somebody in my fantasy football group chat was like, "Dude, he kind of looks like Lamar Jackson," and that's like he's nowhere near as athletic as Lamar Jackson, but he's also sneaky, sneaky fast. And I think that's something we're all going to see. Here we go. Stephen Rowe. Thank you so much, man. Just making my birthday even better. We believe. But that defense, 7 sacks. Is that what it ended up being the final? I popped down to the basement to get all this set up in the man cave to just like live stream. And I'm living my best life right now, you guys. This just feels absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for making my birthday even better, Steven. That's incredible. Ooh, Bob, let's go. My man. So this was wild. We're just walking the concourse of the preseason game, and that is when we knew that Bo Nix was him. Was that preseason game. And I know everyone's discounting the preseason, but he looked better in the preseason than any other rookie quarterback. And we saw the flash that we had not seen in Denver. And this was awesome to see how many Broncos are all over the place in Indy. We saw today how much orange and blue did you see in that Tampa stadium for a 2-0 team, right? Who just beat the Super Bowl contending Detroit Lions. Like, I feel like if the Denver Broncos were 2-0, you wouldn't see an opposing fan in Mile High. Hannah Wilcox, thank you. Happy birthday. Well, happy birthday to you. Well, I don't even know if it's your birthday, but if it is, happy birthday to you. Yeah, feeling incredible, you guys. We are so back. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Who am I kidding? We're getting ahead of ourselves. We're back, you guys. Like, this is exactly everything that Shawn Payton said we were going to be, we were today. And so now we need to go back and like look at all the things that he said that were going to come true. And now we're starting to see the proof of that truth in there. And so, man, I'm just hoping that this fires up our fan base of knowing like, hey, this thing is not over yet. Had we lost today, it would have probably been over for this year. We look back to 1990, like since I've been born, there are only 4 teams who've come back from 0-2 to make the playoffs. But at this point, with all of our AFC West opponents in front of us, with the Chiefs losing Pacheco, with Herbert banged up, like truly the entire runway is in front of us for what this team can do. And that is amazing. So that awesome, man. So I popped down here to get this thing going. It sounds like there was a "Let's Go Broncos" chant in there. Got to be led by a fan of Sports Talk Denver, comments all the time, Dustin. I know he was there in Tampa in force, and so that's incredible. Hey, great question here. Did Sean have a talk with Campbell? So Dan Campbell is actually a Shawn Payton disciple. He played tight end for Shawn Payton. They have a really close friendship, and I think really what the hope for the Broncos moving forward is that we are going to be the Detroit Lions of a couple of years ago, where everyone laughed at them for a long time. They peaked, and I think that's what we did last year on our 5-game win streak when we started 0-3. We were then 1-4, and we were down to the Bears in the fourth quarter, and we came back, and then we beat the Packers, who made the playoffs, and then we went on a 5-game win streak against teams we had no business playing against, according to the media, right? With Bills, Chiefs, hot. I think the Vikings, when we beat them, were the hottest team in football. The Cleveland Browns were incredible as well, and we beat them. So it was just like we beat 5 almost playoff tiered teams. And so then it's like, all right, now let's just take that momentum and keep it going forward. I think a lot of what we saw today was just the early lack of production from Bo was really just a rookie not having the whole playbook. And we're seeing more and more. And if he continues to make those steps, no one, even the haters, can say that they didn't see massive step from week 1 to week 2. And now even like I guarantee it'll be on ESPN tomorrow morning that we saw huge step from week 2 to week 3. If you have Bo Nix on a college road trip, locked down in a bunker, literally they are going to West Virginia to a bunker that was made for members of Congress if there's ever a nuclear fallout, and it used to be a secret. Now everyone knows it's there, and now our Broncos are partying there. So Bo Nix has a week there to chill with all the boys, to build that chemistry, to break down tape. there's no distractions, there's no wives or girlfriends. They talk about how, like, there's no food even around there. They're kinda like it's like Camp David, like, they're gonna be in the middle of the wilderness, and who better to just I would give my right arm to go chill with Bo Nix in a bunker. Wouldn't that be incredible? Uh, Beatty needs more touches, 100%. Did it bug anyone else how, like, little the national media pays attention to us? How many mispronunciations of names we heard today? I think this was when, they said it like the European toilet, a bidet. They're like, "Bidet with a nice rush." I'm like, "Bro, it's how do you get that from Tyler Beatty?" But yeah, he looked absolutely incredible. And yeah, thank you for this. And I don't think it's like I think I do not blame anyone who was frustrated by the optimism. It is just like I'm trying to silo in and look at just these 2 years and not let 8 years of hurt continue to hurt me. So it's not anything to commend on my part. I'm just trying to look at what we have right here and not let any of the baggage of the past impact how I feel about this year. And you can't tell me one bad thing Sean Payton has done, other than Bountygate. Other than that, but I guess, even like the Tim Patrick thing, letting Tim Patrick go, that kind of, I was upset about that, and then through the first couple games, I continued to be upset. I'm like, "Dude, Tim Patrick would be so good for Bo Nix," but one of the things that I saw in Lil Jordan Humphreys these past 2 games was, Lil Jordan Humphreys is not nearly the catch everything that you throw to him. I think there was 100 straight targets where Tim Patrick did not have a single drop, and Lil Jordan Humphreys certainly is not that, but Lil Jordan Humphreys after the catch is filthy. Like he had that one, the guy got him on the ground, hit the back of one of his legs, or he would have housed that one. And so his yards after the catch, so maybe even cutting him wasn't that bad of a move for Shawn Payton. Looking at, you could see maybe making the bet that Javonte was going to be better than Samaje Perine. That might be a bad move for Shawn Payton too, but we'll see. I because Sean has come through so many times for us, it's hard to not continue to trust him. Man, this I'm getting real hot down here. I might need to take this off. How do I black out the video? Well, I guess I don't need to. I just don't want to show you guys too much. Yeah, this great point here. We're either going to destroy them or get destroyed and only score 6 points again. I think we are past the days of only scoring 6 points. We saw so much out of this offense, and we saw, oh man, this was the size I ordered for my wife. It's like a small, but man, let's see what we got under it. Okay, it's another bow leaf because all we do is bow leaf here, right? Give me 2 seconds. Yeah. So, yeah, I think our days of seeing only 6 points are definitely in the rear view just because we see exactly what Sean is going to be doing with this offense. Can you guys believe that, like, Bo Nix, if this was a close game, he would have thrown the ball 50 times today. What did he end up having? LR Sports Channel, can you hit us up with what were Bo Nix's final numbers for his completion percentage? And then he barely threw the ball in the fourth quarter because we put it away. And how wild is that? We were 7-point dogs and this game was over by the fourth quarter. Like, that's so sick. But Bo Nix was going to throw the ball 50 times. We totally backed off. Yeah, pretty sweet here. Broncos going from 13 points a game to 17 points a game. Just the points we put up today, like how much that skyrockets this. And I think we left some points out there. I think there was definitely that Cortland Sutton one. He ended up he caught it out of bounds, obviously, and you saw Shawn Payton. The game was over, so he wasn't like heated and mad, but he's like, "Hey, stay in bounds." And there's no way the corner's gonna be able to pick that, but he caught the ball and he ran his route and pushed it a little too much to the sideline there, so he didn't get points there. We settled for 6. In the chat, as always, just fact checking and doing all the best. And I got to find a way to bring some folks on here as well. 25 of 36. So yeah, 36 yards. And we basically did not even throw it in the fourth quarter because that thing was so far out of reach. We had Baker Mayfield seeing ghosts out there, which is awesome. Someone asked on here, I don't know where it is. I got to scroll up. Yep. Riley Moss played incredible. Oh, no fly zone. Let's bring that back. The other thing people were really hating on Sean for was letting Justin Simmons walk and cutting him. But how good did Brandon Jones look with both the fumble recovery, some huge tackles in space where like there was no yards after the catch. He had it locked down, and that huge pick that he maybe could have even housed if so that looked awesome. Someone in here asked, yep, no fly zone 2.0. We Someone asked, do you think that the Broncos looked better without Baron Browning? I'm a huge Baron Browning fan. I feel horrible for his foot injury in a contract year. Like he could have gotten that paper this year. I think the Broncos would have extended him at this point with Browning and Cooper on contract years. I think you would have to give the money to Cooper just because Browning has always struggled with injuries. Oh, here it is. Great. I am the cure. 421. Um, I don't think we're better without Browning. I just think that this was a perfect matchup that Tampa wants to throw the ball. Their yards per game running the rock. If they gave the ball to Bucky all the time, like they need to adjust that and just make him your primary ball carrier. We knew that Baker was going to throw the ball all the time. And so I think with Browning, we maybe even would have seen more sacks. But guys, my player of the game or like biggest surprise player, and it's like a good surprise because I made a video this offseason about how pumped I was, and everyone's like, pump the brakes, that never happens. Dondre Tillman came in and had multiple pressures, was just blowing guys up, and he was moving around. And he talked all about how like playing at the UFL level prepped him for this, and he came in and he looked unreal. And so now you're talking, what are you going to do when Browning's healthy? Because we hopefully we're up in 2-score games and we can run that NASCAR package that we did where you get Bonito out there with two other quality edge rushers. And being able, but to have Ellis looks incredible as a rookie. Wait till he adds a little NFL weight on him. Like he's built more like his dad and not like someone who was just playing college last year. And even still had sacks. Zach Allen is playing at like an all pro level already against a pretty good Bucks offensive line. O-line did a crazy good game today. Shout out to the big guys. 100% totally agree with that. And I think we've all been kind of, throwing them under the bus. That's our where all of our money is. Like the bulk of our salary cap right now some of it's going to Russ. He's gone. And then a bunch of it is also going to the offensive line. It's the highest paid offensive line in all of football. So we need to see this out of them. Now, as I'm talking, so my high point, obviously high point number one is Bo Nix being the quarterback. Shawn Payton gloated all offseason how he baited everyone into making Bo Nix land at us, and we've covered that way too much. But it's true, and it's starting to come true. He said he was going to be better at evaluating quarterback talent than anyone else, and we're seeing why. We see what he wants to do. So that's my number one high. Number two, that defense looked wild, you guys. So those are my highs. What are more? Yep, Mark here. Don't read into too much of it. Tampa didn't show up for the game, maybe looking ahead to the Eagles. I was hoping that they were going to be looking ahead, but I listened to Todd Bowles' entire press conference, and obviously he doesn't necessarily speak for the team. They might still be looking ahead to the Eagles, but you listen to him talk about how they weren't going to look ahead and how they had so much to clean up still. And obviously that could just be coach speak, and the rest of the team might have been looking forward to looking past us. But to me, I saw a ton of effort out of them, and it didn't seem like they were giving up. Maybe they didn't spend as much time prepping for things. I really just think Shawn Payton had their number, and he knew. They talked about Sean's record over Tampa throughout historically, and I think Sean knew exactly how to exploit this defense. And if Sean is the play caller that we think he is, he's going to continue to do this. Ooh, wow. That I won't say because my mom's watching, but maybe she won't read it. Let's go. I think we all do. The only issue is if those last longer than 4 hours, you are supposed to have them medically checked out. So just a little warning there for Willie. Very, very exciting for sure. Okay, this is an awesome point. and I actually want to dive into it. I had a viewer send me an incredible email, and about kind of like how different colors of jerseys actually can impact the outcome of the game, and how for a quarterback who has to see things quickly, that orange is the best color. That's like why hunters wear orange. And it was like really research based. So I want to dive into that. But we looked incredible in those orange jerseys. It's over here on my chair, but my orange Bo Nix jersey is probably the favorite jersey that I have, for sure. We've won our last 6 home games in orange jerseys and white pants. Well, I think it's a fact there. So I hope the Walton Penner Group are listening, and we always wear orange because we're united in orange, and that's fantastic. Let me know. Okay, so we did highs. Any other highs? I did not. I was pumped about Dondre Tillman. I was pumped about Riley Moss, and obviously incredibly over the moon excited for our pass rush. How about Vance Joseph? Like, do you guys remember how many people were talking about um, how many people were talking about Vance Joseph should be fired after the 70-30 debacle last year against the Dolphins? Do you remember even who's the kicker who has his own ESPN show? Somebody help me. He played for the Colts, and Pat McAfee, there he is. Pat McAfee came out and was like, I'm breaking news here that the Broncos are going to fire Vance Joseph midseason and replace him with Rex Ryan. Well, how good does Shawn Payton sticking with Vance look? And I was hoping Vance was going to be a great head coach, and I feel like obviously he's jacked. He's got a presence in front of dudes, but we're starting to see year 2 of a system is when you see that upward uh exponential growth, truly. And so to have year 2 of Shawn Payton's offense, year 2 of Vance Joseph's offense, continuity makes a massive deal. And yeah, Vance Joseph decided to have his defense put up a masterclass. We need to see this again next week. Thank you for helping me with Pat McAfee. There he is. Yep. So many people saying that, yeah, Vance definitely turned it around. And I really think so much of that Dolphins loss, that as you've heard podcasts and stuff after that, was the Broncos defense really kind of flipped on a dime after that. And we had Justin Simmons hurt and Baron Browning hurt. So them coming back was huge. But that was also the week we moved on and cut Randy Gregory, who is now out of the league. And the team he was supposed to report for is like, we don't even know where he is. He just never showed up. And there's some substance issues. And then Frank Clark, who obviously flamed out as well. And so I think a lot of that, when you only have 11 guys on the field, if you have 2 of them who aren't giving 100% effort, aren't bought in, that makes a huge difference. And so I think we've got to remember, let's remember that 5-game win streak and like use that as our reason for hope, not the past 8 years. Cool quote here. We're 7th in total yards allowed per game. That's incredible, especially knowing we just played the Bucs in Tampa. Like, that is an incredible offense. Like, they put up show-stopping numbers, and how many points did the Bucs end up dropping week 1 to a decent Commanders defense, right? I think that was the high score of that week. How many points did the Bucs score week 1? If someone can hook me up with that. Any other high points? Okay. Again, only caution here. Believe in it. 3 hours, 59 minutes only. And now, because I know families do watch, I will not make any more references to the Bo things we all might have or not. No judgment. Yeah, kind of crazy that we still haven't seen a touchdown pass from Bo. Do we have a touchdown pass from Caleb Williams yet? I saw he had 2 interceptions. And guys, Indianapolis Colts are a very bad defense, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a much better defense. If we are okay, so yeah, week 1 they dropped 37 points. Last week we saw them move the ball all over the Detroit Lions. So this is a great offense to stop. Obviously, last week it's hard to get pumped about our defensive shutout, essentially, of the Steelers, when they only scored 13, because that's not a great offense. But limiting Tampa to what they were today, and really, man, had Javonte not fumbled that ball, would we have pitched a shutout on the road at 11 o'clock? It's just wild. Oh wow. I'm seeing stuff on in the comments that I can't say. But great. And then yeah, the Bucks let man with a rookie quarterback, the Bucks who's playing well, let the Commanders drop 20 on them. Um, we got how much would I offer for Bo Nix in a dynasty league? I would offer every single first round pick I have from now into perpetuity. I tend to do that. Like when I fall in love with someone, I may have in my fantasy league uh, traded Tua for Russell Wilson, and I had to give up 3 picks in it. But I feel way better about trading for Bo Nix in a fantasy league for sure. Uh, Caleb has some touchdowns now. Okay, well, good for him. Cool. What? All right. So we did highs. What are? I can say it. Brandon Perna says it. Man, I with the tallest ladder in Home Depot, I'll never get to Brandon Perna's level. So I'm not even gonna try to say it. That dude is like when things go real bad in Broncos country and I've given up, he makes me laugh and that's awesome. And I think he's gonna have some incredible content because it's not gonna be the worst game ever. It's gonna be the best game ever, and that's awesome. Someone asked, what is my full-time job? I am the director of communications for a school district. So I help superintendents figure out like how to communicate things to parents and stuff like that. I make a bunch of videos for different school districts and stuff like that. I did it in Colorado for the St. Vrain Valley School District for some years out in Longmont. So thanks for asking. Yes, the new best best game, 100%. Brandon Jones played incredible, so that's a high as well. All right, let's dive into our lows. What were some things that maybe school districts should become the official sponsor of the Broncos. Let's see if we can get the St. Vrain Valley School District to sponsor the Denver Broncos. All right, let's hear what are some lows. What are some lows? For me, low point, obviously number 1, Javonte Williams, that fumble and just like his lack of what we saw from him a couple of years ago is concerning. I think another low point just in general, 100% Javonte's fumble. I think another low point for me is just our inability to get the run going against someone warned us against getting too pumped about this, which I definitely take with a grain of salt. I'm not selling my house and putting it all on the Broncos to win the Super Bowl. I do think that's a huge win, and we're going to see this as like the ground floor or something awesome. But they didn't have Vita Vea. And I think that really matches up well for the Broncos to establish a run game. And other than Tyler Beatty's amazing run there, I still think Bo Nix wasn't he leading the team in rushing. He looked awesome on some of those read options, but other than that massive run, I didn't see anything that made me like feel like our run game was a thing, and that's got to be a thing. Like that was huge in all Shawn Payton's success for sure. So that I'd say that is a definitely a low point. Is we got to be able to figure out how to run the ball. Yeah, Tyler Beatty is definitely a high point as well that we got to make sure we talk about. Yeah, someone said, Dulcich may have been I'm shocked by the lack of times we've seen him. Like I think there was times last year where you saw his run after catch ability and you're like, dude, this guy is him. And I'm just shocked we haven't seen more of him. I don't know if Sean doesn't think he's got it anymore or if the injury is more than we were letting on there. But yeah, his blocking was a little suspect, and maybe that's why the running game never got going. And then to only see him on that one pass play, that's a little bit scary. No blocking tight ends. Yeah, I feel like we have one or the other. We either have like Dulcich who can catch, or we have Troutman who's a great blocker, but we need like someone, a hybrid who can do both. So yeah, agree with that. Of any other low points, I even thought that Godwin catch over Riley Moss, like that was perfectly thrown ball by Baker. I had thought for a while Baker might be cooked, and he looked good. He could put the ball where he wanted to. We just were in the backfield all day long. He didn't have time to find anybody. And even that pass was not even on Riley Moss. That was perfectly executed there. Somebody's saying we should trade trade Dulcich. I'm not sure what you'd get for him. Also, the NFL's like very, very strange. Like we broke it down a couple weeks ago about like how little passing production there is, and I think through week 2 there were only 69 touchdown passes in the whole NFL, and a couple of years ago there was like over 102. And so you're just talking like it's hard to, I think Vic Fangio kind of broke the passing game, and I think it's really limited what tight ends can do in particular. And you look Travis Kelce, I also think part of that's father time catching up with him, but tight ends are kind of falling out of favor. Draft Loveland next year, University of Michigan. Yeah, maybe draft Loveland. I love that we're not talking about drafting Shadur, drafting Travis Hunter, because it does not look like we will be anywhere close to being bad enough to get anywhere close to those dudes. So that's a very, very exciting thing. Looking forward to next week. Obviously, the Jets, we saw them look really good against the New England Patriots. I think there's a factor to like home team on a Thursday night has a massive advantage. Aaron Rodgers, all the hype of coming back and playing at MetLife Stadium for the first time since his 9 plays into the drive, tearing his ACL. So I'm not like that scared of it, but that defense is much better than the Tampa defense. But I think honestly, like that offense is probably comparable. And so if our defense plays like it did today, you guys, we are going to be in every single game that we play. If we get Travis Hunter, should we play him at wide receiver and corner? It sounds like Travis wants to play both ways. I can't imagine he can do that in the NFL, but if anyone can, it'd be him. Like he looks crazy. Saw somebody ask, did I watch CU? Come on, of course I watched CU last night. That was crazy, man. That was very, very exciting for sure. Surtain is a silent warrior. Hey, the one thing about Surtain that pumped me up today was his ability to stop the run. There are people who dog him and say Sauce Gardner is better because he helps in the run. But how many times did we see him blowing up plays in the backfield tonight or this afternoon? That was awesome. So seeing not only is a lockdown corner, but he's a very willing tackler. And you can say that about all of our corners. And that's got to have you crazy, crazy excited. Bo is our guy. You better believe he is. You better believe he is. And I think we always have believed. I think we've let Paxton Lynch and Teddy Bridgewater and Trevor Siemian and Mark Sanchez and what was the guy John Elway introduced wrong? Case Keenum, or he called him Case Keesum. I think we've let all of that like rot our brain in a way that we just came into this expecting the worst. And anytime in life when you go in expecting the worst, like if you've gotten burned in a bunch of relationships and you start dating someone and you're like, oh, this is going to go that way, you end up like sabotaging yourself. Or you've had bad experiences in work and you go into a new job and just expect the worst to happen. Those are the kind of, I work with some people like that who just like let past bad stuff impact how they view current things. That's just no way to live your life, like live in the moment, and so I think Bo is our guy. Let's live in the moment. And you got to be through the roof excited about how he's looked. Like Shawn Payton is a brilliant head coach. What other brilliant head coach starts him to start the year against all conventional? Like that was dogged by the national media is like, well, look, Eli Manning sat, Patrick Mahomes sat, you should let him sit. Well, he didn't, and he let him start. And then he threw the ball almost 50 times with him his first 2 games. And then today, if we weren't up and dominating this team, we would have thrown the ball again 50 times. So that just shows you one of the smartest offensive genius coaches of all time. Trust Sean Payton or trust Bo Nix to throw the ball all the time. And that's got to get you crazy, crazy excited. Opinion on Bo Nix performance. He looked awesome. He looked like a leader. He looked composed. I think running the ball as well, like that 4th down sneak was sick. His ability to run the read option, get down when it wasn't there. His ability to there was that one. I think the thing that made me just get giddy inside and just start screaming and be able to finally text my group chat like this one's over was that 7-minute drive when we were backed up. I mean, I think that we're on the 4-yard line, and Bo Nix led a 7-minute drive where he did whatever he wanted. And that even started out bad where he threw it to Cortland Sutton. Cortland got a horrible spot, and he was even complaining to the ref. Cortland Sutton got like a 3 or 4-yard gain, but because the ball was on his right hip, the ref literally gave him a 1-yard gain. So all of a sudden it was 2nd and 9, and then it was a blown screen play that Bo Nix spiked into the ground to not take a safety in the end zone. And you're like, oh, that's smart. And then all of a sudden to lead us all the way down into field goal range. And that was the drive. He could have had Cortland in the end zone, and Cortland took his route out of bounds. So, yeah, absolutely. He was a leader. He's a captain, well deserved. A lot of people were doubting that too. Like, he's not really a captain. He just is getting that honorarily. I think like the way that Shawn Payton threaded the needle of getting Bo Nix kind of making him earn the job so that your longtime players on this team feel like he earned it. That's important to like not come out as the teacher's pet. And that's awesome. So great weekend. Any other low points or things that concerned y'all today before we head into New York? Also, do you guys think that the way that Sean Payton asked the league for this schedule, so he said, "Hey, I want 2 back-to-back road games on the East Coast so that we can just chill out there," and he picked the spot, and it's this cool spot in Virginia. Do you think that's gonna have an actual advantage, or do you think that's Sean Payton just trying to act like he's smarter than everyone else? Wow. Um, okay. Well, let's not get political here. I clicked trying to click these as they come in. I just thought that made me laugh. What team am I most scared of seeing the Denver Broncos play? Obviously, I think it would have to be the Kansas City Chiefs, just because that always hurts more when we lose to them. So I think our defense is up to it, and but man, that their defense is kind of coming on. I hate playing the Chiefs. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong on this. I would take an 0-17 start or a 0-17 season if the Kansas City Chiefs never won another Super Bowl. Would all y'all in Broncos country be willing to trade a winless season a la Detroit Lions to never let the Kansas City Chiefs win another Super Bowl? I'd make that trade. Like, that's how much I cannot stand them. Um, Somebody said win changes nothing. We're gonna be 1-16. That is not a football guy. So we'll just skip that. 7 sacks. It could have been yeah, there was a lot of times I was shocked at how Baker was, like, breaking out of those kinda things. So that yeah, I think it really could have been more, and all the hate coming into it was like, "Oh, Detroit Lions are way better than you." They're not. I think we saw that. Yeah, this is a great point here. Shout out Corey Wold. Big fan of the show, big fan of me, never says anything mean. Uh, we have never beat the Raiders since they were in Vegas, so that would feel really good to beat them, and, it'll be interesting to see how if they keep it up, like, them going into Baltimore last week, I really thought they were gonna be awful, but they beat Baltimore in when the Baltimore Ravens were furious about how the officiating went down in their first game against Kansas City. It was their home opener. They had to, like, they were so hyped for that, for the Raiders to show up and play like that. But I do think, like, we've seen how it goes. If you don't have a franchise quarterback, it does not matter how good your defense is. And so I just don't think Gardner Minshew is him. And so, yeah, I hope we beat him. That would be awesome. Ooh, we got a St. Brain kid, the St. Brain Storm. Skyline High School is a great place, man. Yeah, I can't honestly, man, I can't say enough good things about St. Brain District. They're awesome. Ooh, the Giants beat looks like the Giants beat the Browns. Let's see. I'm new to this, but let me see if I can share stuff. We can do a quick around the NFL, and then I'll probably head to a little birthday dinner here. But guys, this is it. Like, we're truly we're starting to be the team that we all thought we were going to be. and that should have us all pumped. So let's jump around the NFL here real quick, see some other things. Oh, this would be all right. The Panthers with Andy Dalton benching Bryce Young over the Raiders. This could be like a bounce back to reality for the Raiders. This changes everything. Like, if all of a sudden, also, I guess this video is sponsored by Olay. It's really not, but the Raiders, like they were feeling their oats. They're like, "Hey, we beat the Ravens in Baltimore. We're back." Well, after their first week loss to the Chargers, everyone was jumping off the Raiders bandwagon, and then they all jump back on last week. If they lose to the winless Panthers, who have shown no shred of any talent whatsoever, like that would be, let's root for this to happen because that would be fantastic for us in the division. Very curious, how did the Seahawks? Hey guys, the other thing is, like, as you think about the Broncos' losses this year, you are going to see the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Seattle Seahawks being very good teams this year. And obviously, I know you're playing the Dolphins without Tua, but the Seattle Seahawks are going to be a playoff team. And so we're going to look back on weeks 1 and 2 and just say, well, we lost to 2 really good playoff teams, one of whom has a Super Bowl caliber defense, and one of whom we had zero tape on how they work. I think it would have been pretty incredible to play Seattle week 8 instead of week 1 and just see what Bo Nix looks like then. Curious, how did that Chargers game end up going with the I'm not good at the internet, you guys. How did the Chargers Pittsburgh game end up finishing here? Ooh, so even this, guys, like, how hot were the Chargers? Like, obviously they dominated the Panthers, they dominated the Raiders, and the Steelers just beat the Chargers. And so you're looking at both of the teams we lost to are probably going to be 3-0, and we just beat a 2-0 team. And so I just hope we're all coming back home and ready, because we're the team that we thought we were going to be. Um cool. Any other low points we wanted to go? Any other low points we wanted to cover here? Any other weird points? Well, all y'all, this is just exactly what we wanted. And we've got so much to break down. Make sure you are subscribed, like all the things, because I'm hyped for Shawn Payton to get revenge on the Jets. You remember last year we played pretty well against the Jets, and they had made it all about Nathaniel Hackett, and the Jets like rallied around Nathaniel Hackett. I think all that is past them, and Shawn Payton is going to get his revenge, and this is going to be awesome. Yeah, definitely weird that we don't have any Bo Nix touchdowns. I think that changes next week. If we just see Bo take another step forward, like, we are here for it, guys. This is going to be incredible. As always, you are all the best. Thank you for watching. Thank you for you. It makes like the winning so much better when you got your fam here to experience it with you. And this is amazing. You guys are awesome. We will catch you later, and don't stop believing.